I normally start out like that because I'm really shy. So this isn't me.
Right up close to the mic so I can hear you.
I'll eat it. I'm Becky. You all heard, but I'm from New Denmark, a small little town in the middle of nowhere, literally. Plastrock, Grand Falls, and Perth. We're right in the middle. And anyway, we have a small church, so I kind of feel at home here. It's nice and small. If you could stand while we read the word. Genesis 19, 12, and 20, 12 to 17. Say amen when you get it. And the men said unto Lot, Hast thou here any besides son-in-law, and thy sons and thy daughters, and whosoever thou hast in the city, bring them out of this place. For we will destroy this place, because the cry of them is waxing great before the face of the Lord, and the Lord has sent us to destroy it. And Lot went out and spoke unto his son-in-laws, which married his daughters, and said, Up, get you out of this place. For the Lord will destroy this city. But he seemed as one that mocked unto his sons-in-law. And when the morning arose, then the angels hastened Lot, saying, Arise, take thy wife, take thee 2 daughters, which are here, lest thou be consumed in the iniquity of the city. And which he lingered, the men laid upon his hand, and upon the hand of his wife, and upon the hand of his 2 daughters. And the Lord being merciful unto him, and brought him forth, and set him without the city. And it came to pass, when they had brought him forth abroad, that he said, Escape for thy life, look not behind thee, neither stay thou in the plain. Escape to the mountain, lest thou be consumed. You all may be seated. Brother Chow, you can pray.
Lord, we thank you for the reading of your word tonight. And Lord, everything that has been placed there is for our examples upon whom the ends of the world are come. Right, Lord, tonight you would honor Becky as she begins to speak to us, open our hearts to receive. And Lord, that you would quicken things to her memory, Lord, whatsoever she hath learned and put together. And Lord, that we would receive it well and make a difference for eternity. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
And Lot was being warned that the city was going to be destroyed, and for him and his family to leave as soon as possible. As I was reading this verse, I realized it's a lot like the world today. There is so much sin in the world, you can't turn on a TV, on a radio, or even Facebook without having a bunch of trash come up at some point. That's what it was like in Sodom and Gomorrah. So God did what he had to do, and he destroyed the city with fire and brimstone. In verse 17, it mentions that Lot was told to not look behind him as he leaves the city, and if he and his family did, then they would be destroyed along with it. Well, curiosity killed the cat, and Lot's wife just happened to look and see what was going on because that was her home and that's really all she knew. But God warned her what would happen if she did look back and she happened to turn into a pillar of salt. God wasn't trying to be mean or the big tough guy when he told them not to look back. He was trying to save them from their past because those cities were full of sin, and he didn't want that sin to follow them. Hence, that's why God wanted them to get out of there. We can't keep looking back at our past because soon enough, it will kill you and tear you down until you have absolutely nothing left. Now it's time to rise up and move on and move forward, and we can't do that with our past following us. I want to rise up and take my place in God's kingdom before it's too late for me. This also makes me think of Noah and how God told him to build a giant ark and have every animal, one male and one female, in the ark. First question I would have is, how in the world am I going to get all this wood to make this huge ark and get every animal in the world on this thing? But God provides. God told Noah, if you build the ark, then I will bring the animals 2 by 2 to you. As Noah was getting the ark ready for the flood, he would constantly tell the people, get ready and go on the ark before it's too late. And all they would do is laugh and mock him. Well, when it came time for the flood, God closed the doors, and only Noah and his family and the animals were inside. It was too late for the people. They didn't listen to the man of God when they had the chance to, and they were destroyed. God is ready to come back to this world again, to take his place, to take his people home. And if we are not ready, God is not going to wait for us. So many people have said that this is a powerful year for the church. Something big is going to happen, and I believe that and want to be a part of that. God is preparing his army and getting them ready, getting them all suited up for this war that is about to take place. You can see it all over. The world is full of sin that it's eating people alive, and they don't even realize it. There's so many signs. We have witches surrounding our churches, some of our churches in the area already, and we need to make sure that we are spiritually ready to fight this. We need our church to rise up before sin gets more of our youth to homosexuality. We have an 11-year-old boy at our church wanting to come to youth, but he's a transgender, so what are you supposed to do? He wears dresses and calls himself Jessica. So is the church supposed to shun him away and say no? Not at all. We can't, because 1, the church will be sued, and 2, that's not really what God would do. We can invite him to our church and make him part of us, but we can't lower our standards for him. It's our job to let him know where we stand, how we live, and what we believe. Because we are on God's side, and I want to be part of that army, and I want to be ready. I don't want to be left behind. You can feel a change even in the atmosphere. If you go outside and you stand there for at least 10 seconds, you can tell there's something going on. There's a difference from a month ago. Now is the time to rise up and take our place as the church, as the body of Christ, and as a Christian. And Satan isn't going to stand in our way because we will run him over. I didn't write this down, but I kind of feel to say it. During Christmas time, it's God's birthday, and like everyone talks about Santa or ho ho, whatever the kids call him nowadays, old Saint Nick. But if you look at the lettering in Santa, it also spells Satan. And I believe that that was made for a purpose, because nowadays kids care more about presents than the real story of Christmas and why Christmas was created in the first place. It wasn't about this man called Santa in a huge suit who was big and jolly and everything else, who seemed like he was the real meaning of Christmas. He was the reason for taking God, like he took God's place in our children's lives, and we need to realize that it's all about God. And sorry, I wasn't very long, but I'm a quiet person anyway. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.